My name is Atsushi Miki. I'm a 30-year-old ordinary office worker. I'd like to talk about a ridiculous story that forever changed my life. I work in a mid-sized company. My job title and salary are both not bad. While my work has been going pretty well, I've had some problems in my personal life. My college girlfriend dumped me about a year ago. I don't have many chances to meet girls, especially at work, so I haven't been able to start a new relationship. I also don't have a lot of friends. For the past year, I've been living a single, lonely life. One day, I got a message from my university friend, Iwahara.
I heard you broke up with your girlfriend. Is that true?
Yeah, it's been a year already. Hey, we haven't seen each other for a while.
Yeah, how you been? You have a new girlfriend now?
I'm fine, and my work is going well. But I haven't had the chance to meet new girls.
Are you serious? Remember when we were in school? Almost every girl wanted to ask you out.
It wasn't because of my charm, though. My current workplace is full of guys, so it's hard to meet girls now.
Wow, you really missed out on life.
Hey, stop saying that!
Sorry. I know you went through a lot.
So what's up?
Yeah, I'm actually glad that you're single. You want to go with me to a matchmaking party?
Matchmaking party? You're going?
Well, I think it's about time for me to settle down. My dad keeps nagging me too.
It's tough being a company president's son, right?
Come on, don't make it sound like it has nothing to do with you.
It's true. It has nothing to do with me.
So, what do you think? Are you coming?
I don't have the right clothes for that kind of occasion.
That's not a problem. I'll lend you my designer clothing.
Thanks, but I'm not good at talking to people.
But you want a girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
Then let's go.
It's true that I want a girlfriend, but it's nerve-wracking to be suddenly invited to a matchmaking party. Eventually, I decided to give it a try. However, on the day of the party...
Sorry, I caught a cold.
Oh no, Iwahara got sick and couldn't make it to the party. I didn't feel like going to the party alone, but I had already paid for it, so I decided to go anyway. I put on the clothes I borrowed from Iwahara in advance and went to the party. I didn't know what to do and was wandering around.
Hi, have you been talking to anyone? Let's talk, if you like.
Two women approached me. The woman who spoke to me is a 26-year-old Asuna. She's wearing an expensive-looking red dress with heavy makeup. Her luxury style made her stand out from other participants. The other woman's name is Chiaki, and she's also 26 years old. She has a more elegant style, but seems more reserved than her friend. The three of us chatted for a while. I was mainly answering questions Asuna asked me. Looks like she's interested in me. I thought to myself, hey, maybe I'm not so bad after all. Then I answered her work-related questions as truthfully as I could. I'm a salesperson in the health food business. Yeah, I'm an ordinary company worker. Nothing special. Then Asuna's face changed.
Excuse me? An ordinary office worker? Why didn't you say so? What a waste of time.
She suddenly changed her attitude. She must have assumed that I was wealthy when she saw the designer suit I borrowed from Iwahara. Guess I'm not charming after all. Chiaki, who was standing next to Asuna, tried to stop her.
Hey, that's rude. Don't say that. You can go out with him then. I don't want to go out with a poor guy.
Asuna continued.
My dad is the president of MoniRobo Trading. I can't afford to waste time talking to a peasant like him.
Then she left angrily. I'd normally get upset when someone tries to insult me, but I've never experienced such a blatant insult in my life. I was shocked by what Asuna said. I just stood there speechless and watched her walk away. Chiaki stayed behind and kept apologizing to me. She seems to be reasonable and has common courtesy. I wonder why she'd even be friends with Asuna. I ended up talking to Chiaki for the rest of the party. We exchanged contact information, and she messaged me the next day.
Hi, hope I'm not interrupting you.
Not at all. Thank you for yesterday. I had a good time chatting with you.
My pleasure. Again, I'm very sorry about what my friend said to you.
It's okay. You don't need to apologize on Asuna's behalf.
It must have been uncomfortable for you to hear that. I wish I could stop her right away.
Well, I can't say I was pleased, but no one has ever spoken to me like that before. At least Asuna spoke her mind, so don't worry about it.
I see.
By the way, I am curious about something.
What is it?
How did you become friends with Asuna? Seems like you and her are completely different types of people.
Our fathers know each other, so Asuna and I have played together since we were little.
Like childhood friends?
Yeah, something like that.
I see.
But we might not look like friends to other people. We probably look more like a boss with her secretary. Or, at best, senior and junior colleagues.
Come to think of it, I did get that impression. Why is that though?
It just became like this somehow. It has something to do with our families too. But, to be honest, it's a bit tiring dealing with her.
Yeah, I'd understand why.
Hi, my name is Chiaki, and I'm a 26-year-old office worker. I'm an ordinary girl, but my childhood friend Asuna is the daughter of a company's president. We became friends mainly because of our father's business associations. Our fathers seem to get along in private too. Asuna's family owns a large company, and my father's company is a subcontractor to that company. So we were never on the same level. There was no problem when Asuna and I were young. Because we didn't know any of the grown-up stuff, we used to be as close as sisters. However, things started to change after we entered high school. Both of us began to realize the difference between our fathers. Can you do my assignment for me? Okay. Asuna gradually started to treat me like a subordinate. I followed her everywhere through high school and college. I almost felt like I had become her personal assistant. It didn't change even after we both started working. Of course, I don't like this, and I feel exhausted. But I can't really say no to Asuna. The reason is simply because of our fathers. Asuna's father's company is the biggest client of my father's company. And Asuna is her father's only daughter whom he dotes on. I'm always afraid that if I offend Asuna in any way, our father's relationship will be affected. One day, Asuna asked me to go to a matchmaking party with her. We met a guy named Atsushi Miki at the party. Asuna spotted the designer suit he was wearing. So she approached him, and we started talking. Atsushi is a nice guy. Polite, soft-spoken. His sincere personality is also very likable. I didn't get my hopes up because I knew I would stand no chance if Asuna decided to go for him. But then, Asuna found out that he had borrowed the suit from a friend and was actually a regular office worker. Asuna took a ridiculous attitude and left the party. I'm very sorry.
Don't be. I misguided her by wearing a borrowed designer suit.
It'd be understandable if he got infuriated by Asuna's attitude, but he remained calm and didn't seem to be affected. I became curious about Atsushi, so I exchanged contact information with him. We went out a few times and naturally started dating. I felt that I had finally found happiness. A year later, our relationship was still going smoothly. As for Asuna, she's still going to matchmaking parties, hoping to catch a rich, handsome guy. But it seems not to be going well. One day, I got a phone call from my mom. Oh my god, is Dad okay? I'll be there soon. My father was already taken to the hospital when I got here. He was found unconscious on the floor after taking a lot of sleeping pills and alcohol. He knew my mother had to go somewhere far on that day and wouldn't come home early. That means my father was trying to commit suicide. Fortunately, my mother returned home earlier than planned and found my father. So she immediately called an ambulance. My father was saved in the nick of time. After my father regained consciousness, he told my mother and me why he tried to commit suicide. And the reason was unbelievable. What the hell did you do? You said something, didn't you? What are you talking about? About my dad's company. Why did your father suddenly stop doing business with him? My dad's company is on the brink of bankruptcy because of you. I have no idea what you're saying. I didn't do anything. Maybe karma got you because you were too cocky. Too cocky? Me? I've invited you to parties so many times recently, but you always turn me down. Of course, I'm in a relationship now. Why do I go to matchmaking parties? But turning down your childhood friend is pretty insensitive too. So I think you just got what you deserved. Seriously? That's why you decided to make things hard for my dad? I told you I have nothing to do with it. Can we talk things out, please? My dad was so desperate that he tried to kill himself. Oh, that's sad. I'll apologize to you. Could you ask your father to consider doing business with my dad again? That's impossible. Besides, the reason why your dad's company is falling apart is that your dad is not good at business. Maybe it'd be better if he's gone. Are you serious? It doesn't matter either way, don't you think? You're a horrible person. Go ahead if you want to get back at me, but all you can do is cry and complain. Well, it's been fun. Bye. I had never felt so much anger in my heart before. I also felt ashamed of myself for not being able to do anything about it. I started crying uncontrollably. Then Atsushi arrived at the hospital. I forgot that I called him earlier. He asked what had happened when he saw me crying. I told him about my conversation with Asuna. He said,
Maybe there's something I could do to help.
"Really?" Atsushi made up his mind, took my hand, and said something I had never imagined before. I was astonished.
I proposed to Chiaki when she was crying with a look of despair. But I wasn't being impulsive. I've been planning to propose to her. Then, I took Chiaki to meet my parents. It was also the first time in 10 years that I went home. However, telling my parents about our marriage was not the only reason I went home.
Is this really where your parents live?
Yes, Chiaki was surprised to see my parents' house. My parents' house is in a prime location in Tokyo with a stupidly large front yard. My father, Shigeaki, came to greet us at the entrance.
It's been a while, son.
Yeah, we stood in the foyer and I said to him, I'm sorry for being so stubborn. I know it is a lot to ask, but please, I really need your help. I got down on my knees and apologized to my father. In fact, my father is the president of a large global company. Since I'm an only child, my father hoped that I would take over the company someday. But I hated to follow his orders when I was younger, so I had a lot of conflicts with my father over the topic. After graduating from university, I left home and started working at a company that had no connection to my father's business. Of course, I didn't tell anyone about my background, and I haven't talked to my parents for over 10 years since I left home. I explained the difficulties Chiaki's dad's business was facing and asked if my father could help. In return, I would move back home, learn from the beginning, and prepare to take over the company. In the end, my father agreed to meet Chiaki's father to discuss possibilities of cooperation. Our fathers soon had a meeting and started to talk about business plans. Chiaki's father told my father all the information about his company. My father was impressed with the company's achievements. He told Chiaki's father that the company has the solid technical ability to grow bigger in the future. My father said that he would love to work with Chiaki's father. They eventually signed a contract. Chiaki's father ended up getting an even bigger deal with my father than with Asuna's father. His company was saved. Later, Chiaki and I married and started living a happy life together. My training at my father's company has also started, and I've been working hard every day. One day, on the weekend,
It's been a while, Chiaki.
Asuna? Asuna showed up at our doorstep without notice. Before we could ask her why she came, she said,
Please, help my dad. My dad's business is failing.
she got on her knees and started begging. From what I heard, Asuna's father's company was going out of business. They'd probably have to declare bankruptcy soon. The reason was quite simple. After they stopped working with Chiaki's father's company for manufacturing, the quality of their products dropped dramatically. So the products were not selling at all. After hearing Chiaki and me were married, Asuna decided to come to us as a last resort. It's true that I might be able to help her father's company, but I wanted to let Chiaki decide. I'll leave this to you, Chiaki. What do you think we should do? Tell me your honest thoughts. Chiaki looked at Asuna coldly and said,
When I begged you to help my dad, do you remember the response you gave me? Well, I can only give you the same response now.
Then she looked away. Asuna still wouldn't give up and begged us repeatedly. We ended up calling the police and got her out of our house. Meeting Chiaki and reconciling with my father have dramatically changed my life. I guess Asuna played an important role in it too, but I won't sympathize or be grateful to her whatsoever.
My name is Chariko Yamamoto, 23 years old. This weekend, I went to a cafe I've been wanting to go to with my boyfriend, Yuta. It is famous on social media for its colorful Instagram-worthy dishes and latte art. However, an incident ruined the whole weekend. We're finally here!
Is this that popular cafe you were talking about?
Yeah, this place is so popular that people queue on weekends for 2 hours.
Really? All cafes are all the same.
Huh? Guys really don't know when to shut up.
I'm sorry.
Take pictures when we get inside, okay? Take as many pictures as you can.
Roger!
Let's go in. Whoa, the line is so long.
It looks like we'll be waiting for an hour.
We were expecting this anyways. Let's wait patiently.
By the way, Charako, the cafe across the street has no line.
That's not what we're for.
I'm sorry.
Why do guys hate queuing? Hurry, take pictures. Take pictures of the stylish interior.
Okay.
Just like that, Yuta and I waited patiently. Then, an hour and a half later, table for two for Miss Charako. Yes, that is. Your table is ready. Please follow me.
Finally, I'm starving. What should I order? This hamburg plate looks delicious.
Stupid. Yuta, what are you saying? This cafe has a specialty menu.
Specialty menu?
Yes, the special Charako plate. It's colorful and Instagram worthy. Looks good, right?
Right, but this ordinary hamburg plate looks better, doesn't it?
No, let's order the same food. We'll get a lot of likes for sure.
It's all the same once they reach the stomach.
Huh, you really don't know when to shut up.
I'm sorry.
I'll order now, okay? Excuse me.
What's your order?
We'll have 2 special Chara plates.
Choose a drink from the set.
Sure. Cafe latte and mango juice.
I'll take the menu now.
Okay. The waiter who took our order was very brusque. I was a bit pissed off when he took our order, but he looked so busy, so I endured it. I hope our food will be ready soon.
Yeah, we've waited for so long. I'm starving.
Our famous special Chara plate for 2.
Wow, looks delicious. Let's take a picture.
Wow, that's the famous Chara plate. Looks delicious.
You're right. The actual plate looks delicious.
What do you mean, actual?
Well, the picture on the menu looked a bit odd.
You really don't know when to shut up. We waited and waited for our food to come, but no matter how much we waited, our food did not arrive.
Our food isn't served yet.
It's been 40 minutes since we ordered. Don't you think that's too late?
Maybe our order wasn't filled.
You might be right, because those people over there came after us.
Right? They were in line behind us.
But their food is already served. I really think they forgot our order.
You might be right.
Let's try asking. Excuse me?
Yes? What is it?
We ordered Chara plate 40 minutes ago. The order has been placed, right?
Yes, I know. It's being cooked. Just wait.
Huh? What's with that tone? We've been waiting for 40 minutes.
Charako, calm down. He said it's being cooked. So let's wait a little longer.
Shit, that bastard. I decided to wait a little longer, but just as expected, our food did not come.
Hey, Charako, I'm starving. Why don't we just give up? The burger shop next door looks delicious.
No, I won't give up. We came here to eat Chara plate.
You really are stubborn.
Because Maki asked me to take pictures, so...
But look at the time. How about we come back here on a different day?
No way! I will definitely eat it today.
Okay, I understand.
This bastard waiter needs to be punished. Then a cold war between that bastard waiter and me began.
Charako, what are you doing?
There's times when I'm practicing calligraphy.
Calligraphy? You don't normally do that.
Because I don't want to waste my time. I wanted to make the most out of it.
You're right. Your handwriting isn't that good.
I'm gonna punch you in the face if you say that again.
I'm sorry. A hungry woman is scary.
2 hours later.
What are you doing this time, Charako?
A hand clap.
Hey, don't do a hand clap inside the cafe.
Why? We're going to eat, so why not work out a little?
Right, but everyone is looking at you.
When it comes to this, nothing embarrasses me anymore.
Whoa, you're so stoic in that sense.
On the other hand, that bastard waiter was happily talking to the waitress after the lunch hour rush.
The waiter is happily talking to that waitress.
What? He forgot our food.
Let's tell him that he forgot our order.
No, let him notice. We have to make a complaint to be heard. He needs to realize what he's done.
You have a strong sense of justice.
Then, the incident happened 3 hours after we placed our order.
Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but...
A middle-aged waiter came to our table. Apparently, he's a store manager. I didn't see him during the lunch hour rush, so I think he just got to the cafe.
Have you already placed your order?
Yes, 3 hours ago.
3 hours ago? Your order?
Of course it didn't come yet. We've been waiting for 3 whole hours now.
We're terribly sorry. I will bring it to you right away. By the way, which waiter took your order?
That waiter happily talking to the waitress in the kitchen.
I see. Please wait for a while.
Hearing that, the manager's expression changed and went to that waiter. Looking from afar, I can see that the waiter is being scolded. After that, he came back to our table.
I deeply apologize for keeping you waiting.
You finally came! It's been 3 hours since we placed our order. Why did it take this long?
The kitchen staff is a new part-time worker and miscommunicated.
Really? Despite that, you look like you were happily chatting with the waitress in the kitchen. Since you had that much time, why didn't you teach that?
Well, it's useless making excuses. I took a video of you using my phone. I apologize on his behalf for his behavior. I will take note of this.
Could you please serve the chara plate we ordered? We've been waiting forever.
About that, it's hard to say, but the chara plate is sold out.
Huh? What are you gonna do about that?
Please, wait for a little. Hey, Yamashita! Get ingredients from our affiliate store!
Me? My shift is over.
I don't care! This is an emergency, so hurry!
The jerk for making his junior colleague take responsibility for his mistakes. I couldn't take it anymore. Enough, you jerk! You're the one who made the mistake, so you should go get the ingredients. Don't touch your mistake to your colleague, you incompetent waiter.
Right. You're being irresponsible. You need to be punished. Oh no.
Mr. Manager, I have a request.
Yes? What is it?
Please bill our order to this bastard waiter.
What?
I won't calm down if you don't do that.
Understood. You got it? Yes, I understand.
A war that occurred on a peaceful weekend was about to end like that. The chara plates finally arrived at 7 p.m., 7 hours after we placed our order.
Special chara plate for two.
It's finally here.
Our lunch is now dinner.
Anyway, let's eat. We were starving, so we ate without minding how Instagram-worthy our food was. I'm frustrated, but this tastes so good! By the way, that bastard waiter, after that, the waiter was fired for sexual harassment and power harassment. Rumor says that he's now unemployed. He's a terrible mess. I got all hot and bothered with this incident, but I hope that with this incident, waiters like him would disappear. You need to watch out for bastard waiters like him, okay?
My name is Tadayuki Shimada. I'm 18 and I'm working. I didn't even attend high school. I graduated middle school and started working. I was planning to go to university, but my family didn't have that freedom. My family was normal up until I was about to graduate middle school. My father was the CEO of a small business, and he got along with my mother quite well. I had a little sister, Satomi, who was 3 years younger than me, and a brother as well. We weren't above and beyond, but we were an average family living an okay life. Until one day, "Is your father home? I want to speak with him." "Huh?" My uncle came to my house to speak with my father. Turns out my father had taken all the money from his company and left our family without saying anything to us. So, our family had tons of debt, and my mother was left to take care of us. This was when we ran out of luck. My mother was weak and often got sick. She tried her best to work and take care of us, but she would go down frequently. So, our family became poor very fast. We moved to a broke-down apartment, and our food was barely present. I wanted my sister and brother to eat up because they were still elementary kids. We couldn't have food in the house, and their only good food was from the school lunch. I thought about it and decided the best option was for me to start working and not attend high school. I had my friend introduce me to a local construction company, and I began to work there. 3 years later, I turned 18, and I was still working in the same company. We aren't rich, but we are able to keep ourselves alive now. Before, our family was very quiet and sad, but recently, our house had become much more bright and happier than ever. But our bad luck continued on. "I'm sorry, but our company is going to close next month." "What? No way!" The company went bankrupt. Of course, I started to look for a new job quickly, but every company around my area were having difficulties. There were no companies in my area that would hire someone that didn't go to high school. But I couldn't start working away from my house. Just as I was about to give up on finding a job, I received a message from my uncle. "It's been a while. How are you?" "Hello. It's been about 4 years now, huh?" "Yes, things have been busy. I've been able to calm down lately. That's why I decided to contact you.
I'm so sorry that my father caused you trouble.
It's okay. I didn't want you to apologize for that.
But it's the truth.
It's okay. You don't need to worry about it. Say, how are you doing lately? You must be graduating high school, right?
My age is, yes, 18, but I didn't go to high school. Our family can't afford the luxury, so I decided not to go.
Seriously? You could have told me. I would have helped.
I can't let you do that.
You don't have to be like that. Where do you work then?
I work at a local company, but a few days ago it went bankrupt.
So you're jobless right now.
Sadly, I can't find a new job to work at.
How about you work under me? We started a new business for automobile parts just a year ago.
Really?
Yeah. We've been short-staffed at the factory. We would definitely love your help.
Please, could we talk about that position? My uncle and father were 2 years apart, and I think he was 43 this year. I didn't know he started a new business. Actually, my uncle also worked at the company my father owned. But because my father had taken all the money, the company went bankrupt. But I'm glad to hear that he's still trying his best as a CEO. That helps me out too. But there is something that I'm concerned about. But are you really okay with me working under you?
Yes. I can't forgive what my brother did. I have nothing against you, Tadayuki. You can count on me. I'm your uncle,
he said in a calming voice. And so I began to work at the factory.
This is my nephew, Tadayuki. Please teach him the way around this place.
I'm ready to work! I used to work in a pretty masculine environment, so I thought I would get the hang of things easily, but the work itself wasn't bad. It was something else.
Hey, move faster! If you don't want to work, then leave!
Higher-ups were very strong people, even after work.
Hurry up and drink! It's all on us!
I'm still underaged. I was invited to hangouts without being able to decline the offer. There were a lot of days I had to work overtime as well, and I often worked past midnight. So, I was more tired than ever. But I accepted it a little because I was a very uneducated worker. I worked for a month and it was time for my first paycheck. However, I was shocked to see my salary. Excuse me, I checked my paycheck just now. I think there's a mistake.
A mistake? Where?
There's only 50,000 yen.
That isn't a mistake then.
What do you mean? I'm a full-time employee. I've been working more than full-time.
We agreed on this before, right? Your mother is sick, correct?
Yes, and I thought you were going to take care of the medical bills.
Maybe I was not straight enough with you. I meant that I was just going to let you borrow the money from me. So I went and took the medical bill amount from your paycheck. Didn't I say that?
No, you didn't. But even with that, this is not nearly enough. The medical bills weren't that expensive.
Hey, do you know how much trouble your father, my brother, caused me?
Yes, and I'm very sorry for that.
An apology is not enough to pay me back. I need you to return them like this. Can you not at least try and give back to me?
This is too little.
I can't force you to do anything. But because of your father, my family almost crumbled too. If you feel bad about that, maybe you can show me some respect.
He was gonna say that, then I had no way of talking back to him. Indeed, my father has done so much harm to him. I couldn't live off of this, so I had to start a second job working a night shift. It wasn't every day, but working from morning to the night shift was exhausting. I averaged 4 hours of sleep and was worn out every day. Couldn't hide this from my family, too.
You're done already?
Yeah, I don't have an appetite today. Maybe because I was tired, I couldn't eat anything. And that worsened my condition. The person that worried about me the most was my little sister Satomi. She was so upset looking at me all worn out one day.
Hey, brother, I'm going to work after I graduate middle school too. My friend's sister works at a pub, and so I'll start working there.
Began to say she was going to hide her age and start working a night job. I obviously said no and said, I can't allow that. You have the grades too. You need to go to high school. I said strongly, and she started to cry.
If you keep this up, you'll break down. If that happens, then we all go down.
What she said woke me up, and I couldn't talk back to her. We decided to hold off on this conversation and ended it there. The next day, while I was on break, I got a text from her.
Hey, brother, it's an emergency.
What happened?
Yeah. Oh, but it's not like an accident or anything, so please come down and listen, Kay?
Sure, what is it?
I was just on the phone, and our father apparently just died of a heart attack.
Father? You mean ours?
Yeah, the call was from his neighbor. He told me if anything happens to him, call his family.
Are you sure? Is it not a prank?
He knew our names, so I don't think it's a prank.
I see. Did you tell Mom?
Yeah, of course. She was shocked to find our father like this.
Yeah, no surprise. I'll be home quickly today.
And one more thing. The neighbor is planning a small funeral for him. He invited us to it.
I think Mom should be the one to go.
She can't. She isn't well yet. And she might get worse if she does go. I don't want to go either. I don't know what to do if I see him.
Yeah, I know. Could you ask for the date and time? And so I decided to attend my father's funeral. But it was a very small one. It's been a while since I last saw him, and he looked like a completely different person. He had gotten very skinny, and apparently he lived in an apartment that was much worse than ours. He had no communities, and his neighbor was the only person he talked to. There was a young woman there, around the 20s as well. She introduced herself to the neighbor too, and I didn't know who she was either. I didn't learn who she was, but we exchanged bows and left that day. But on my way home...
Excuse me, are you Mr. Masashi's son? Do you have a little time? I want to talk to you about something.
The woman approached me. Then we went to a cafe near the train station and started to talk. She told me it was about my father, but we introduced ourselves first.
My name is Sari Karawaki. I met your father when I was much younger.
She was 25 years old and was a regular worker. Her father was also a CEO of a small company, and him and my father were best friends. When her father's company was in trouble, my father saved them by lending them a lot of money.
Thanks to him, our family was saved. My father passed away last year, but he thanked Mr. Masashi until his final breath.
That was why she attended the funeral. I was puzzled at first, but decided not to talk about what my father had done to her. Thank you very much for attending the funeral. I think my father is happy to see you as well. I was going to end the conversation there, but she suddenly made a very serious face.
I wanted to tell you something. My father had told me before he passed, and I thought that you should know this too.
What she told me shocked me. The next day, I went straight to my uncle's office. Uncle, I wanted to talk to you about my father. I don't want to hear his name again. He's a criminal. You should forget about him too. He looked a little fazed. I couldn't contain the anger I felt when I saw that face. My legs trembled. And so I committed to finally saying it. Stop lying! I know you were the one that took the company's money, not my father! Miss Sari told me that my father was innocent that day. My father told her father, and her father told her, and now me. Apparently the money that was taken from the company was taken by my uncle for gambling. He took more than tens of millions. My father found out, and he persuaded him into going to the police. But my uncle brought people from the Yakuza and threatened him in return. Do as I say! If not, these guys will go see your family! Because he took my family as hostages, my father gave in. And so he vanished, with no money to his name. And so, my uncle was able to blame the lost money onto my father. My uncle replied, I see! That's a good story. Do you have any evidence? He said with a grin.
But there is proof.
Miss Sari walked into the room with the police. Just yesterday, we went into my father's old room, and we found multiple documents recording what my uncle had done. I think just before he ran away, he had taken these files for evidence. And the Yakuza that was on my uncle's side was having a bad time as well, and was a very small group. They were gone from sight, and so the backbone to my uncle's authority had vanished. This was all investigated by Miss Sari's father before he passed. And so my uncle was arrested for stealing money and for threatening my father. And my father had signed a very large health insurance, so our family had gotten a lot of money from that. Thanks to that, I did not have to worry about looking for a new job quickly. Now, I live a much more peaceful life.
My name is Aki Nakano, a 17-year-old ordinary high school student. I wanted to talk about my incident that happened in my class. I have a classmate named Rinko Akamoto. She's from a wealthy family, so she gets a lot of allowances. The things she uses are all from designer brands. Because of her luxurious style, she gets all the attention at school. I feel like she's always surrounded by other students. Unlike her, I'm from an ordinary family and have very ordinary looks. I'm a plain-looking girl known for my diligence and enthusiasm for books. Since Rinko and I are complete opposites, we rarely talk despite being in the same class. One day, we had a group assignment on social studies, and I was assigned to the same group as her. Hey Rinko, do you have a minute? What's up? I wanted to let you know which part of the group assignment you're responsible for. You left the class early, so I guess you didn't hear that part? Yeah, I guess. Maybe you could do my part too. What? Honestly, group assignments are so troublesome. You seem to have higher grades than me, so you'll be better at it, right? But this is a group assignment. I don't think the teacher would notice. So can you do my part for me? Do I have to? What? Are you seriously saying no to me? I didn't mean it that way. Then it's all good. I'll leave it to you. As you can tell, she has a selfish, evil princess-like demeanor. It was also my fault that I couldn't say no. Indeed, she's always surrounded by classmates at school. But if you ask whether she's the most popular girl in class, the answer might be no. Another girl in our group assignment, Misa Shinomi, spends a lot of time with Rinko at school. Hey, Nakano, I heard Rinko asked you to do her part. Seems like she's busy, so I kind of had to. You're so responsible. But you must think she's a bitch, don't you? No, I don't. Oh, come on. Why can't you be honest? I think that every day. I thought you guys were friends. Yep. She pays for my bills when she's in the right mood, and she also gives me used designer stuff. So it's beneficial for me to be her friend. I see. Yep. By the way, about my part, it's a little too much. Can you help me? Okay. Thanks. I'm so glad you're in my group. Even though they looked like good friends, Misa would always talk behind Riko's back. I ended up finishing 70% of our group assignment, but this kind of situation doesn't happen often, so I wasn't bothered. About a half a year later, Rinko became different from before. How do I put this? She has become shabby. Her makeup became sloppy, her hair was frizzy, and her skin was lackluster. She also became very skinny. She used to change her bag and accessories daily, but now she's using the same one every day. I was worried about her, but we weren't close enough for me to ask her. So the reason for her change remained a mystery. Then I heard something from Misa. Sorry, can you let me copy your math notes tomorrow? I fell asleep during class. Sure, I'll bring it tomorrow. Thanks. By the way, did you hear the rumors about Rinko? Rumors? Rinko's father's company went bankrupt. Oh, really? I also heard it from others, so I don't know the details. Apparently her family is deep in debt, so her life is miserable right now. That's why she looks stressed out lately. Honestly, she deserves this. I don't think so. You're too nice, Nakano. I think it's her punishment for being so arrogant all the time, so we're free to laugh at her. The rumors about Rinko turned out to be true later. The story of her father's company going bankrupt was on the news, and everyone started talking about it. Nobody wanted to be friends with her anymore, so she became isolated. Led by Misa, people started to talk behind Rinko's back. They badmouthed her so much that even I heard them from time to time. I didn't like the atmosphere and was uncomfortable with what they were doing. So I sent Rinko a message to check up on her because I grew more worried about her. Hey Rinko, do you have a minute? What, you too? Huh? That's right, my family is broke. The four of us are living in an old apartment now. I can't even have proper meals now, let alone clothes and makeup. Everything I had was sold to pay off the debts. Are you satisfied now? Calm down, I just wanted to remind you of something. The math assignment is due tomorrow, and the math teacher asked me to tell you this. Oh, I see, sorry, I acted up. Everyone is messaging me and asking me the same thing, so I assume that's what you were doing. By the way, Rinko, I'm home alone tonight, and I made way too much food. So? It'd be helpful if you can come and eat it with me. I was concerned when she said she sometimes doesn't have enough food, so I went ahead and asked her. Just when I thought I might have agitated her, but to my surprise, she agreed right away. She came to my house and ate hurriedly. It was obvious that she was starving. I even made more food for her because it wasn't enough. Then I saw something unexpected. She was crying so hard while eating. After she finished the food, she stopped crying and went home. Then she messaged me right away. "Thank you for dinner. It wasn't so bad." "You're welcome." And also about that. That? About me crying? Can you keep it a secret? Okay, I won't tell anyone. It wasn't a big deal anyway. I broke down because it's been a long time since I had a warm meal. I understand. If you don't want to answer, that's fine, but is your life that difficult? The bankruptcy shouldn't have taken such a toll on me, but my parents, how do I put this? They still have the same sense of money as when we were rich, so we can't keep the extra expenses down. Is that why your food expenses was cut down? Something like that. My parents can't face reality, but I can't really point that out to them. I see. Everyone left me as soon as I lost my money. After all, my relationships were all built on my family's rich. I finally realized that recently. So it's normal for them to think I deserve it, and it's okay for you to laugh too. I'm not gonna do that. Why? I wasn't nice to you too, was I? So you realized. Isn't this a perfect chance to laugh at me? Do you want me to? No, of course not. Then I won't laugh or make fun of you. Will you come and help me next time I make too much food? Rinko started coming over frequently to eat with me. My parents also welcomed her after I told them about her situation. It's become common to see her at our dinner table. We also started to hang out more often at school. Rinko seemed to be gradually regaining her vitality and health. However, there were still people who wanted to bother her. One day, I got a message from Misa. "Nakano, have you been hanging out with Rinko recently?" "Yes." "Why?" "Nothing particular, it's just become this way." "Why, is there a problem?" There's no problem, but I think you should keep away from her." "How come?" "Because she's just an arrogant bitch without money. You won't get anything from being friends with her." "I don't make friends for a purpose." "Is that so? But you'll be in trouble too if this continues." "What trouble?" "She still can't let go of her pride and is such a snob." "I don't think so." "That's exactly what she is. You can't see that because you're too nice." "Even if she is like that, what are you planning to do?" "I had a discussion with my friends. We agreed it was time to punish her." "You can't use violence." "Violence? Don't make me laugh. We just want to prank her a little so she can reflect on her mistakes." "You don't need to go that far." "I'm doing this for Rinko's sake as well. She needs to learn that she'll get burned for being a spoiled princess." "What are you planning to do exactly?" "You'll see soon. You might get caught up in the middle if you're too close to her. So you better keep your distance." What Misa said sounded disturbing to me, but I thought she wasn't being serious until I was proven wrong the following day. I came to school and saw some scribbles on Rinko's desk. It wrote "Spoiled Princess Wannabe, Stupid, Ugly." The content was unbelievably childish. And things got escalated from there. They began to break Rinko's things and splash water on her when she was in the washroom. It was all the textbook techniques of bullying. "Let's go." "What?" I took her hand and left school. That was my first time skipping school. I brought Rinko back to my home and started to make a counter plan. A few weeks later...
What's going on?
What do you mean? Your parents called my parents just now. They said they're going to sue us. Is this a joke? Nope, it's not. My dad is a lawyer, and he's representing Rinko. You'll be sued for property damage, violence, and other things.
It was all just pranks.
That's not up to you to decide once you're in court.
Please, I'll be in so much trouble once my parents find out what I did. My future will be affected too if this becomes serious.
You should have thought about that before bullying Rinko. It doesn't matter if we sue you or not. Bullying is always a serious matter.
Why? You're also a victim of her arrogant attitude.
It might be true when we were doing the group project, but I won't bully her because she's arrogant.
I just wanted to punish her a little.
If you really think you were doing the right thing, then you shouldn't whine and cry about getting sued. If you hurt someone, prepare to get hurt too. Both of my parents are lawyers, so I went to my parents and asked them to help Rinko. After that, Rinko contacted me. Are you sure? I don't have enough money for lawyer fees right now. My parents always defend people with financial difficulties. So even though it's relatively a high-paying profession, my parents don't earn as much as lawyers. My parents also seem to have come to their senses after this. We'll save up and definitely pay your parents back no matter how long it takes. Don't worry, my parents said no rush. Take your time. Thank you so much. I can't believe you're willing to help me to such an extent, especially since I used to be so mean to you. You're my friend. Of course I will help you. Given her family's financial situation, I told her to pay the lawyer's fee in installments. As expected, this incident became a big issue. In the end, the case was settled outside of the court, but there was an aftermath. The group of bullies led by Misa gained a bad reputation at school. It became uncomfortable for them to be at school, so they stopped going. In addition, the school didn't let Misa go without punishment. She got expelled from school because other bullies were no longer welcome at school, even though they weren't expelled. They all transferred to different schools.
My name is Nano, and I'm 32 years old.
And I'm Nano's husband, Masayoshi.
We've been happily married for 2 years now, but today, I'd like to talk to you about something unbelievable that happened to us. It was around 3 months ago when it happened. Around then, my husband had decided to part ways with the company that he had been working with and start his own business. With that, we were looking for a new, spacious house with enough room for us both to live in, as well as for my husband's work.
A place by the train station with a driveway we could park a car in would be perfect, but...
Hey, how about this place?
Yeah, it looks perfect.
What we found was a 2-story house that was put up for lease. It had several rooms on each floor, so there was plenty of space to separate the living quarters with my husband's workspace. We didn't think we would find anywhere better than this, so we decided to rent the place and moved in as soon as we could. The agent had explained to us in advance that the neighborhood had a strong, tightly woven bond, so when we moved in, we made sure to go around the block to introduce ourselves to the neighbors. We've got to leave a good first impression so everything can go smoothly.
It might take a while until my business gets off the ground, but I'll try not to worry you too much, Nano.
Don't worry about a thing. I've already secured a job nearby as well, so we'll help each other out. A few days earlier, I had applied for a clerical position at a nearby office. I didn't think I'd get the job, but I was fortunate enough to be hired. I was scheduled to start working about a month after we moved in, so until then, I was helping my husband out with getting his new business up and running. Finally, the day has come. Are you excited for the grand opening tomorrow?
Yeah, and we're only here because of you, Nano. Thank you for everything.
Don't mention it! I start work from tomorrow as well, so we should go to bed early tonight.
You're right, Nano. Good night.
Good night! Morning! You excited for your first day? 'Cause I am! First day at the office. I changed into my suit and was just about to leave for the office when... What the? I let out a shriek in awe of what was before me. Hearing my cry, my husband rushed outside and he too let out a shout of surprise.
Nano, what's going on? What?
Parked in our driveway was a car that we had never even seen before. So exactly whose car is this? We had saved that spot on the driveway for any visitors we might have, and since we didn't have a car, it was obvious that someone had parked there without our consent. We looked around to see if the car's owner was still around, but to no avail. What should we do?
Well, we aren't expecting any visitors today, so let's just leave a note for now.
The house was empty until about a month ago, so maybe the car's owner had been parking here since before we moved in. But just because the house was empty didn't mean that the car was allowed to be there. But we didn't feel like calling the cops on whoever the owner was fair, so for the time being, we just left a note on the car that said, "You're on private property. Please do not park here." Meanwhile, I arrived at the office and introduced myself. I'm the new office clerk, Nano. Nice to meet you. Coincidentally, there was one other new worker in the office that day. Morning, everyone. The name's Yakamachi. Nice to meet ya. She acted as if she'd been with the company for years. And even after our introductions, while I was working hard to learn as much about the job as possible, Miss Yakamachi just sat around at her desk and bossed everyone around. Seeing this, my colleague who had been with the company for a long time mumbled to himself,
I heard that she was the CEO's niece or something, but she really doesn't belong here.
"Wait, she's the CEO's niece?"
Apparently, I heard that she got a divorce and had nowhere else to go, so boss just decided to hire her, but if she keeps that attitude up, she won't be of any help to us at all.
Everything makes sense now. She was acting all big and strong because she knew she couldn't be fired. At first, her bossy attitude got on everyone's nerves. But eventually, everyone realized that if she was left alone, she would just be on her phone all day and not get in anyone's way. I'd better stay out of her way too. "All right, I'm heading out for the day." That day, Miss Yakamachi left the office as soon as the clock hit 5 p.m. and before anyone could even get ready to go home.
Hey, Nano, you can call it a day too. It was your first day, so you must be tired.
Thank you, sir. I'll just file the daily report and then I'll head out. Around 15 minutes after Yakamachi left the office, I headed out and made my way back home. I'm so glad the house is just around the corner. But that was when... Wait, is that? From out of nowhere, the car that had been parked in our driveway came speeding through the street. Whoa! It wasn't the car's speed that grabbed my attention, however. Rather, it was who was in the driver's seat. It all happened so quickly, I could barely make out who it was. But that face, Miss Yakamachi? There was no question about it. Miss Yakamachi was the one driving the car. Seeing this, I rushed back home, eager to tell my husband about what had just happened. But when I got back, my husband was standing in front of the door with a concerned look on his face. "Honey,
Hey, welcome home, Nano.
is that the note you left in the morning?"
Yeah, it is, but it was crumpled up and left on the ground like this when I came to check.
That's terrible! I saw a woman getting in the car, so I came out to come and talk to her, but she drove away before I could say anything to her. I think I might know who that woman is.
Wait, really?
I told my husband about Miss Yakamachi and about what had happened at work that day.
The CEO's niece, huh? Sounds like quite the character.
But this is our driveway, and we rented this place so we could use it for your business. We have to do something about it, and I guess I'll start by talking to Miss Yakamachi tomorrow.
Well, I guess she might listen to you if she finds out that she was parking in her coworker's driveway.
But the next day... Wait, is that... I knew it!
Nano, look!
What in the world is that? I quickly ran to the office, and when I arrived, I saw Miss Yakamachi enjoying her morning coffee while everyone around her was getting ready for work. Miss Yakamachi! What? You're the one parking in our driveway, right? So what? That is our private property that we are renting out. And that note you left? Who do you think you are? But instead of fighting back, Miss Yakamachi just grinned. That house. You know my uncle owns that place, right? So I'm free to do as I please with that driveway, and you can't give me crap for it. It doesn't matter who owns the place, as long as we're the ones renting it. We have the right to decide who's able to use the driveway. If you want to use your car to get to work, the office has a parking lot too, you know? That small, cramped up parking lot? Nah, my car's too expensive for that place. I can't afford to have other cars bumping and crashing into it.
So you don't trust our driving?
Then rent out your own parking lot or something. Just please stop parking in our driveway. Oh, it's just a driveway. Why the big fuss? You don't even have a car to park there. No, we don't. But that parking spot is specifically reserved for any visitors that may have to come by our house to work with my husband. So please just stop parking there. No, never in a million years. If you want someone to park a car, why don't you rent out a parking lot or something? What kind of logic is that? If you're gonna keep this attitude up, I'll make sure that you regret having stood up to me. And with that, Miss Yakamachi grabbed her phone and her makeup kit and left her desk.
Miss Yakamichi's family. Apparently they own a substantial amount of the land around in this area. I've also heard that they have friends in politics as well. So if your husband wants to start a business around here, I wouldn't complicate things with Miss Yakamichi. I'm sorry.
Despite what my colleague told me, I wasn't willing to give up. Hey, what's up?
Nano, how'd everything go?
She wouldn't budge at all.
I guessed as much.
Not only that, but she went on about how her family owns the house that we're renting, and how that gives her the right to use the place. She even told us to rent a parking spot elsewhere if we wanted to park a car.
Says what law?
I don't care if her family's rich and powerful around here. I don't want to give up and let her have her way.
Same here, Nano.
I know you're trying to get your business off the ground, but...
That's not something you need to worry about, Nano. I'm not going to let her have her way either. I'll call the cops right now.
Okay, I wanted to talk things out, but Miss Yakamachi didn't come back to the office for the rest of the day, so I left her a message on the phone. I hope your day is going fine. This is Nano. Since you haven't come back to the office, I'm going to leave you this message. We reported you and your vehicle to the police for illegally parking on private property.
What? I was just parking on land my family owns. What's wrong with you?
I'm not willing to spend the energy and time it'll take for me to explain to you who's in the right here. But this should show you that we're not messing around. I advise you to refrain from parking on our property in the future.
Fine, have it your way.
I'll stop for now. I hoped that it'd have to come to this, but it was better to solve things once and for all than to let her do whatever she wanted. Later in the day, Miss Yakamachi apparently showed up at her driveway and drove away at insane speeds, just as she did yesterday. Phew, I guess that settles it.
Yep, but I'll stay on the lookout tomorrow. You never know with these things.
As we expected, Miss Yakamachi's car never showed up in her driveway after that. But what in the world? Instead, what started was a barrage of harassment directed at us. It started with notes with insults written on them being posted up on our door, and it eventually escalated to things like garbage being thrown out on our driveway and a note claiming that my husband was a scammer being passed around in the neighborhood. The harassment went on for about a month, and because of it, my husband's business was struggling. We knew who was behind all this, but we didn't have the evidence to prove it. Then, as she had known that we'd be sick and tired to her stomach, Miss Yakamachi showed up on her driveway with a big grin.
Hey, I heard that you guys have been going through a lot lately.
Yeah, says you.
Oh, you surely don't think a beautiful and innocent woman like myself could be behind this?
What you're doing is a crime. You do understand that, right?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Miss Yakamachi showed no sign of remorse or guilt, and her attitude was getting on her nerves. Then, the backseat door to Miss Yakamachi opened up and out came a couple that looked like they were in their 70s. Whose side are they on?
Hey, you guys, if you want to run a business in this area, you better listen to what we say.
Each town has its own rules, and our area is no exception.
Damn it, they were with Miss Yakamachi. Miss Yakamachi has called reinforcements just so she could secure her own parking spot.
So what are you going to do? Are you going to hand the driveway to me? Or do you want to keep on trying to survive in this living hell?
There's no chance we're letting you park here!
You clueless buffoon!
In a fit of rage and frustration that things didn't go her way, Miss Yakamachi quickly grabbed a piece of rock from the ground and chucked it as hard as she could at her own window.
What the hell do you think you're doing?
It's our property. I can do whatever I want to it.
We were at a loss on how to deal with Miss Yakamachi, who showed no signs of stopping. Her parents even egged her on.
Please stop! There's a computer in there with important files in it!
Then you better shut up and listen to what I say! I can burn down the entire house for all I care!
Someone called the cops! I thought all was lost when suddenly...
What's going on here?
But boss! Suddenly, Miss Yakamachi's uncle, and our CEO, showed up at doorstep demanding for things to calm down.
Brother? What are you doing here? I got a message from Mr. Sugo saying that he had something he wanted to talk to me about.
Wait, what?
I didn't want to make you do all the work for me, so I was going to pretend like I was going out for work and go see him. I found it weird that Mr. Sugo didn't show up to our meeting on time. But then I heard that window breaking, so I rushed over and surprise, surprise. Now what in the world are you guys doing?
Please, let me explain! These fools took over our property without our consent, so we were just trying to show them who's boss!
Yeah, they won't let Io park her car on this driveway that they don't even use that often. Shut it! But... Yes, my real estate company does own this house, but Mr. and Mrs. Sugo are the ones paying the rent right now. which gives them the right to use this property. You have absolutely no right to even step onto this property without their permission. Instead of showing them respect, you fools have not only harassed the poor couple, but also destroyed their property. There's no excuse for that! I'm sorry. We understand now. You won't park there anymore, right?
Yes, I'm sorry, Uncle.
An apology is far from enough! I'll be sure to get this poor couple the fair monetary compensation that they deserve for the damages you've done!
What? No way! You said it earlier yourself! It's their property now! Doesn't make sense for us to be the ones to pay for the damages!
You've clearly not given your daughter the adequate education. When you break someone else's property, you pay for it. It's as simple as that. She did complete middle school, if that's what you're asking. No, I didn't ask you that. We're talking about basic integrity here. You were the one that asked me to take care of Io after she got cheated on and got a divorce. But maybe I was wrong to say yes. I've been hearing about your attitude at work, Io. I'm not going to let that slide. You don't have to come in for work tomorrow.
No!
I know all this must be hard for you, but I'm going to have to ask you to fairly compensate us for disrupting my business and defaming me.
What? No way!
Io, you better do what they say. Or else.
Fine!
Soon after, the police arrived and detained Miss Yakamachi for destruction of personal property. Apparently, one of our neighbors who heard the window break had called the cops for us. According to our CEO, his brother, Miss Yakamachi's father, had been selfish since he was young. He stole his parents' money and left his family multiple times, but every time, he'd come back crying to his parents after accumulating an amount of debt he couldn't repay. He was fortunate enough to find a wife, but his wife's parents refused to invite him into the family and cut ties with their daughter entirely. When they had nowhere to go, they turned to his brother and made their way to this neighborhood, where his family had possessed much of the real estate in the area. Though our CEO was willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, this incident convinced him to cut ties with them. In the end, Ms. Yakamachi had to pay a whopping $45,000 in house repairs and other damages. Her family was forced out of their home, which had also been the property of her CEO, and now they fight every day over who's going to get a job and feed the family. Meanwhile, not only were we able to get a speedy repair job for our house, my husband got a whole set of new clients, and when our CEO introduced my husband's business to his own clients. So the damages done to my husband's reputation was restored, and now my husband seems busy keeping up with all the new clients. Well, the Yakamachi family was quite the force to be reckoned with, but...
Justice always prevails in the end.
That's right. After everything, our bond as husband and wife is stronger than ever.